Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Stacy. Welcome to your practice. Let's begin in Sukhasana, easy seat. Root down through the hips, reach up through the crown, and establish your position here strong, stable, and easeful. Notice the breath and take a moment to visit your Sankalpa intention. Take a deep inhale breath. Repeat the Sankalpa intention in your mind. And then on your exhale breath, allow the intention to seed itself into your heart. Again, inhale breath, awareness to the intention. And exhale, bring it straight into your heart, plant the seed, and allow it to facilitate your practice today. Know that this practice is contributing directly to your Sankalpa and realizing it in your body. Inhale, breath, exhale, release the right ear down to the shoulder. Inhale to center, exhale, left ear down to the shoulder, taking some neck stretches. Inhale back to center, exhale, draw the chin to the ceiling, nodding the head back. Inhale to center and exhale, nodding the chin to the chest. Feel that bow, honoring yourself and your practice. Breathing slowly, arriving here. Draw the head back up. And just take a moment to feel yourself here. Inhale, lift the shoulders. Exhale, release down with the sigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release down. Inhale again. Exhale, drop the shoulders. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink. And bring the hands to the knees. We'll do seated cat-cow. So inhale, open the chest and neck. Exhale, tuck the hips and round through the spine for cow. Inhaling into cow, Exhaling into cat. Feel that stretch and open through the spine. Notice the energy running up your spine each time you open to the front into that cow position. Bring the fingertips to the shoulders at the front, thumbs at the back, elbows nice and wide. And we'll do some twists. So just twisting from side to side from the torso, draw the navel into the spine. You can add some breath to the twists if that feels okay. In, out, in, out. If the breath is too much, simply go through the movement and allow the breath to happen naturally. Release the hands to the thighs, draw energy up, big inhale breath, lifting it right up into the upper chest, drawing the pelvic floor up, hold, release. Bring the hands together, Anjali Mudra at the front of the heart space. Take an inhale breath and reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, fold forward into the bend. Feeling the work in the core, drawing the navel in, but allowing the outer hips to release. Surrendering the heart's space to earth. Inhale, float arms up. Anjali Mudra, return to heart space and change the crossover. So opposite cross on the legs. Inhale, sweep arms overhead, Anjali Mudra. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Sort of taking this bow and surrender to your practice today. Inhale as we lift back up, hands together, Anjali Mudra, back to the heart space. Taking a little bow and then bringing the knees further apart, base of the feet together in our bound angle. Holding the ankles, inhale, open the chest, lift the spine. Exhale, take a small fold forward from the hips. Inhale, back to seat. Exhale for the fold. Inhale, back to seat. Exhale for the fold. So that tiny little hinge movement from the hips, just giving that additional stretch. Inhale and hold that last one, lifting tall, and then release. Let's roll over the shins and find our kneeling position. And let's do some rounds of cat-cow. So in your own time, inhaling into cow and exhaling into cat. So as we inhale to cow, we lift the chin, open the neck, lift the tailbone, feel the front body and front ribs expanding. As we press to cat, we tuck the hips under, push and round through the spine and feel the back body expanding. Notice the contrast between the two movements. Move with your own breath at your own rate, making sure each movement lasts for the duration of the breath. This is where we really connect into the breath and the body and establish that mind-body-breath connection, which is our goal for yoga. Now we're going to shift the hands forward and sink the chest down into puppy pose. So hips stay above the knees, opening the chest. Feel that really strong stretch down the armpits, the sides of the ribs. Allow this position to open your heart and surrender it to Mother Earth, releasing anything that's heavy, allowing it to spill straight from your heart space down into earth, where she can hold your burdens. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Tuck the toes under and bring the hips back to the heels for our toe tuck balasana. Just opening up the bottom of the feet and the toes. Maybe inhale, rise up and bring your weight over the toes, really opening the bottom of the feet. If this is too much, you can stay in balasana. However, if we can tolerate this pose, it's a great position to open the bottom of the feet, ankles, strengthen the front of the shins. And we'll find Balasana again, reaching from fingertips to hips. Hinge forward, inhale, and then exhale, find downward facing dog. First one of the day, let's take it gentle, bend the knees, be generous. Find length from tailbone all the way through to wrist. Remember that strengthening position in the arms, folding our armpits towards each other at the front of the heart space. Inhale, breath. Exhale, gently walking to the top of the mat, feet meeting hands. And we'll find Ragdoll Pose here in our first Uttanasana fold. So releasing from the upper body. Shift the weight forward slightly to the toes. Feel length from heels to hips. Allow the neck, head, shoulders and arms to be dead weights, facilitating a deep stretch in the spine, releasing the vertebrae, taking the tension. Inhale, roll up. Arms overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands through third eye space to heart space in Anjali Mudra. Inhale, breath, and then exhale, Tadasana. So take a moment here to feel the energy we've built so far, this pranic flow moving through the body. Notice where you feel it the most, maybe at a energetic space, the heart, the belly, the pelvic floor, or maybe all over. Take a deep inhale breath and then exhale strongly through the mouth. Deep inhale, fill the ribs, lungs, body. Exhale strongly through the mouth. One last inhale. Exhale. Inhale, circle sweep, arms overhead. Exhale for the fold. Uttanasana. Inhale to halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale as we bring hands to the mat, step back into plank. Inhale in plank, strengthening the core, coming to the knees if we need to. Exhale, lower to knees, chin and chest to mat, untuck the toes. Inhale, cobra, lifting the chest and opening the front heart space. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift, draw the shoulders back, point the elbows back, open the neck. Exhale to lower. One more. Inhale to lift, really strengthening the legs, strengthening the open in the spine. Exhale to lower, chin and chest to mat, tuck the toes. Take an inhale breath. Exhale, press to knees. Hold the exhale and then downward facing dog. Now we'll take some breaths in downward facing. Focus on that length in the spine, challenging our hips, challenging our shoulders, but feeling the ease, the heat and the ease, the two most important qualities of an asana pose. Inhale, breath. Exhale, walk to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale as we roll through the spine, slowly stacking the spine onto the hips. Ardha Uttanasana, arms overhead, hands together, Anjali Mudra to the heart space. Now let's position ourselves on the mat so that we can take the weight into one leg. So we're going to transfer all of our weight into the right leg and do some floats. So on the left toe, we go from the left toe to the mat, and then inhale, we float the knee up like you're sitting on a chair. Exhale, lower the toe to the mat. Inhale to float the knee up. Balancing on the right leg, finding your poise. Exhale down and release, changing sides. So weighting the left leg now, finding all the balance and steadiness in the left leg, coming onto the right toe. Inhale to lift the knee. Exhale to tap the toe. So it's like you're lifting that right knee up as if it's sitting on a chair as it comes to the top. Exhale to tap. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. Release. And we'll bring the feet double shoulder distance apart. Heels in, toes out, hands on the thighs. Take an inhale breath, reach up through the crown, extend the torso. We're coming into Goddess pose now. I'm going to do some repeats through Goddess. So exhale, sink the hips back, trace the hands down the thighs and make a bracket between the arms and legs. Inhale to stand back up. Exhale, point the hips back, lower down, sinking the hips towards the earth, knees come apart, arms brace at the knee. Inhale to stand. Let's do that again. Exhale, lowering down, taking Goddess pose now, finding that nice stretch in the inner thighs, that little bit of work as well. So we're finding our heat and ease. Let's bring the hands together and take a little challenge, holding Goddess pose unsupported. Breathing through this position, lifting the inner arches of the feet, strengthening the feet and legs. Inhale, lift, release. And now we'll find our wide-legged fold position. So press into the outer border of the foot, pigeon the toes slightly and lift the inner arch of the foot. Strengthen your legs and squeeze. Inhale, circle sweep, arms overhead. Exhale, circling around to the back of the body, clasp the fingers together and open the chest. Draw the navel to spine and fold from the hips on the exhale as we find our halfway lift in our wide-legged position. So making your spine into a tabletop, feel that core working hard. A Manipura chakra. Inhale as we lift back to standing, circle sweep, arms overhead. Exhale, release the hands beside the hips. Wiggle the toes back together and let's come to standing at the end of the mat. Inhale, circle sweep, arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Step back into kneeling and find Child's Pose Balasana. So take a moment here in Balasana to revisit the body. Notice what's happening. Feel the energy. Feel the heat. Notice what's happened that's challenged you. Notice what's happened that surprised you. Now, on an inhale breath, we'll hinge forward to kneeling. Draw the right knee to right wrist and the right ankle in front of the left leg for our pigeon pose. Inhale, open the chest, extend the spine, find the back bend. Exhale to fold, bringing the chin and chest towards the mat. Inhale as we lift and open into that back bend, challenging ourselves here. Exhale as we fold and surrender. Inhale as we lift and open. Come up onto the left toes and draw the right knee back to kneeling. Change sides, left knee forward to left wrist. Ankle comes in front of the right hip. Extend the right leg back. Lift the chest and find that gentle back bend. Exhale, fold forward, surrender. Inhale, lift and open. Exhale, fold and surrender. Inhale to lift. Exhale to fold. Lifting one last time. Tuck the toes under on the right leg. And bring yourself now into a seated position. So finding that comfortable seated position, using a bolster if you need to raise the hips. Let's bring our awareness back to our Sankalpa. Feel that intention deep inside the body. Breathing easefully. Bring your right hand to your belly. We're going to do slow Kapalabhati. Inhale breath and then pull your navel towards your spine as if you're trying to avoid a hot flame or a knife. Inhale just recoils naturally. Exhale strongly. Inhale recoils naturally. Do as many as you like or as many as you feel comfortable with. On the last one, we're going to hold the navel to the spine, draw the energy up, lifting, extending, lifting our breath into the chest. Hold, hold, and then release. Feel the work and energy we found in that breath practice, Kapalabhati, breath of fire. It brings fire into the belly. This energy we can take forward into our day. Notice the body. Notice the breath. Now we're going to find our last position, which is our extended angle. So bringing our bolsters and pillows together and at the back of the hips. Base of the feet come together, knees nice and wide. Take an inhale breath. Sit up nice and tall. And then exhaling over your supports, your bolsters. Now we can wiggle the feet and the heels back towards the hips a little bit more if that feels okay, and bring the arms out wide so we're really open and extended in this position. Make yourself as comfortable as you can and start to direct your breath down your spine into your belly. Feel how the entire body is open and ready to receive beautiful, fresh oxygen. So we'll do some deep yogic breath in this position. We're going to inhale deeply, fill the belly, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Entire body full, hold. And then exhale from the upper ribs, middle ribs, and then lower ribs. We're going to do this for 5 rounds. Continue at your own pace. Filling from the bottom up, and then releasing from the top down. Each breath, seeing if we can expand the rib cage that little bit more. During this practice, imagine you are opening your heart space, literally, ready to receive love and kindness from the universe. Feeling that seed starting to grow in the heart space. Once you've finished, just release to a normal, comfortable breath on that last one. And just bask in this aftermath of deep yogic breath. Bring the hands together at the front of the heart space. Inhale, breath, exhale, nod the chin, draw yourself up. Open up that bound angle pose a little bit and fold forward. So bring the heels and hips a little bit further apart. Find that counter pose, opening the back. Now we'll come to a cross-legged position. Bring the hands together in Anjali Mudra at the front of the heart space. Nod the head down towards the hands. Take a moment to revisit your Sankalpa one last time. Know that each time you come to your mat, you are helping yourself move closer to that desire. May be peaceful, may be happy, may be calm. Namaste.